What's up, guys? Nick Devine, n.devine from Instagram, here to show you guys Fraliens. That's going to be the next tutorial. That's why I wanted to get out that 4-core alien, 5-core alien, more core alien. So with a Fralien, it's basically another word for a frame staple alien. A frame staple alien has 2 cores, round wire, and then a stack in the middle of ribbon, so a staple in the middle. So staple in the middle, 2 frames, round wire. Now most people are going to question with the alien wrap, how do I figure out how many ribbons to put in and what decor to use. So I'm going to get into that. I got a couple drawings here that might help out. So I'm going to get into that first, tell you guys how to match up your ribbon with your decor, how to figure out the math so it all makes sense to you. There's a couple real easy ways to remember it. You are going to have to know the math behind the wires and how it is relevant to ribbon wire. So it's good to get a chart. I'm going to try to attach one to this video. In fact, hopefully right here. I'll have it like right here. So I'll put a chart up and then I'll put it at the end of the video so you can screenshot it. I got a couple videos in it where it's already in there. So let me just dive down, show you guys these drawings, and then make a Fralien. It's going to be a lot like the alien, or a lot like the more core alien. Pretty much everything's the same besides, you know, making that frame staple to put inside of it. So other than that, there was a couple other things I wanted to tell you guys about aliens. We went through the alien math in the last video. Now it's important to know that with the decor on your aliens and whatever your cores are, your decor, the math does matter, but aliens are very forgiving depending on how you stretch them. So you could use even bigger wires on them cores depending on how you stretch it. For example, I put up that video, then I put a post out on Instagram. Ramo texted over to me, hey, I just did a 5-core alien 28 gauge. So the same one I did in the video, he did it with 22 gauge decor. So what happened was he didn't have to stretch it as much, and he gets more of a predominant S. Alright? Now I've also done them with like 25 gauge, so something a little less than 26. Or I'm sorry, I've done them with 27 gauge, a little bit less than 26. Erase that. Sorry. I've done them with 25 gauge. We did that video with 24 gauge. 25 gauge is a little bit thinner than 24 gauge. I've done them 5 cores with 25 gauge and just stretched them more, and I get a less predominant S. It's a little straighter. Alright, so depending on how you stretch a wire, you'll get it around cores that you need to, but you still have to be in that range. You got to be in that range somewhere. Alright, you can't do that with like a 28 gauge around 5 pieces of 28. That's not going to work. It's just going to bundle up your stack. And then one more thing I wanted to go over, because some people say, they still follow, what I'm showing them, and, their wires are still bundling up with aliens. That's probably your stretch. It's probably your stretch. You just got to practice the stretch. I can only show so much, the rest is just feeling. I would say if you're following everything to a T, the only thing that you're probably not doing that I'm doing is stretching it properly. The only other thing I could say is holding tension on the drill. I mean, that's the only other thing. Lots of this is just practice and muscle memory. I've said it before, I'll keep saying it. It's muscle memory and practice, 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 practice. Just like anything. So let me dive down and show you guys this. Most likely this video is going to move fast because I've showed you guys aliens, I've showed you guys Clapton, I showed you decor. So there's no sense in, beating a dead horse. There's no sense in just keep on showing you that. Go over to the other videos and watch it. I'm going to show you the important stuff for people that have never seen my videos. It's important to still show you, what's actually going on. But if you've never seen my other videos, the aliens, the frame staple, just go check them out. And the more core aliens, go check them out if you're not fully getting what I'm doing in here. But I'm going to do my best to just make this video informative and fast at the same time. Alright, so I'm going to dive down, show you this, and then we'll get on with the build. Alright, so it's important to note that while I'm showing you this bit of the drawings, that I'm using 26 gauge round wire as an example, along with 0.4 by 0.1 ribbon wire as an example. Alright, so if you have a wire chart, which I'll also try to attach that here, if you have a wire chart, you're going to see that 26 gauge wire is equal to 0.404 millimeter. Alright, 0.4 by 0.4 ribbon by 0.1 ribbon is equal to 0.4 by 0.1 millimeter. So ribbon is 0.4 tall. 26 gauge is 0.404 tall. So damn near 0.4 tall. Alright, it's a slight bit taller. An amount that doesn't matter. So when you put 26 next to 0.4, they're the same size. They're the same size in height. Alright? So when doing a frame staple, if you use 26 and 0.4, that would be a good thing. That's a good combination there. Now this is a 0.4 ribbon stack, but as you can see, when you stack 4 of them up, they're the same thickness as the 26 because 4 times 0.1 is 0.4. Alright? And this may seem simple and, common knowledge to some people, but, everybody starts somewhere. So a 4x4 stack of ribbon is the same height and the same width of 26. Only this is round and this is square. So this is good to know with Fraliens, because if you usually do 3 26 gauge aliens, you decor a 26 gauge to get around them 3 26s, right? So if we're doing a Fralien or a frame staple, we take out the middle 26. Really? We take out the middle 26 and just add them 4 pieces of ribbon, and it's the same thing. Same size, because these 4 pieces of ribbon are the same size as 1 piece of 26. So a 26 gauge decor not only works for the 3 pieces of 26, it also works for 2 pieces of 26 and 4 pieces of ribbon. Alright, so they're the same height. These are just little notes I put to make sure that I hit. Same width, and 4x4 is equal to 26 gauge. And then I put down, remember the odd gauges. Remember the odd gauges means, so let's say you wanted to do more than 4 pieces of ribbon. Alright, now this is important with our more core aliens. Like I said in that video, let's say I wanted to do more ribbon here. Well, 4 pieces of 26 is a 24 gauge D-core, right? So that would mean 2 pieces of 26 and 8 pieces of ribbon would also be a 24 gauge D-core. Odd gauges. Let's say I want it somewhere in the middle. I didn't want to put 8 pieces of ribbon. Let's say I wanted to put 6. You could use 25 gauge if you have it. Or you could use 26 or 24 and stretch appropriately. So you would have to stretch 26 more or stretch 24 less if you wanted 6 pieces of ribbon in between these two 26 gauges. Or you could just get 25 gauge because that's in the middle of 26 and 24 and stretch it appropriately. There's more. So here's a little chart. I'm going to put a better chart here. But here's a little chart of my wire gauges. So if you just want to screenshot this chart pretty much helps me with everything besides 42. I wish I would have put 42 on there. But the reason I wrote this chart is because I wanted to show you guys what wires were closest to what ribbons. So 32 gauge is 0.02, so that's the closest to 0.2 ribbon. 28 is 0.320, that's the closest to 0.3. 30 is not too far though. I've done frame staples with 30 and 0.3 and they work great. 26 gauge, like we just explained, is 4.4. And that's the closest to 0.4. And 24 gauge, 0.511. That's the closest to 0.5. Now, we used to do frame staples a lot with 26 and 5 pieces of 0.5. And that works fine too. This is just good to know with your math, with how to find that D-core for your Fraliens. So, after I show you that chart, this drawing has to do with 28 gauge and 0.3. 28 gauge is the same height as 0.3, so 3 pieces of 0.3 is the same as 28 gauge. Got it? And this is the frame staple I'm going to be doing right now in the video. So just like I told you guys with the more core aliens, 4 pieces of 28 gauge would have to be aliened with a piece of 26. So let's take 2 of them pieces out and add 6 pieces of 0.3 ribbon, because each 3 pieces of 0.3 ribbon is equal to a 28. So let's put 6 in and use a 26 gauge D-core just the same, and it's going to be the same thing as if I was doing a 4-core 28 gauge. Hopefully that's not too confusing. I don't think it is. Hopefully these drawings don't hurt and they only help. 3 times 0.3 by 0.1 ribbon stack is equal to 28 gauge. And oh yeah, I kind of just said this, but the simplest Fralien would be 2 pieces of 26 and 4 pieces of .4 with a 26 gauge D-core. That's like the simplest Fralien you could do. So if you're just starting off, then this is probably the Fralien you want to try out. Get your 26 gauge D-core, get your 2 pieces of 26, your 4 pieces of .4, or even your 4 pieces of .5 will work, because that's the same thickness. The height doesn't matter so much, it's really the thickness you're looking for. Don't worry too much about that height. Worry about the thickness. And then just one more thing I want to note with Fraliens. As long as you get this math down and you know what ribbons to put in for the proper D-core, Fraliens are easier to alien than 3 pieces of round wire. They just stay tighter better because there's square wire in there. It's not 3 pieces of round wire that just slip. There's flat ribbon in the middle, so it holds the stack better. So they're actually easier to alien than 3 pieces of round wire. So it's a great thing to practice to alien is a Fralien. And any builder will tell you the same, that it's easier to alien a frame staple than it is 3 pieces or 4 pieces of round wire. I'll show you this side one more time. Let's get to the build. Alright, so I never really like doing this, what you're going to need for the build, because I always feel like I'm going to forget something or whatever. I've seen other builders do it, and it seems like they always forget something. But, here's what I believe is all you're going to need for this build. So, we got 28, 38, and .3. I love using all nichrome, but when it comes to ribbon and frame staples and Fraliens, I really like to get it to the Kanthal. It gives it different heating moments, and which gives it different kinds of flavor, and it also keeps the build at a decent ohm level. Alright, and then you're going to need some wire cutters, needle noses. Scissors are optional if you have wire cutters. Ceramic tweezers I like to use to pinch my ribbon together to make sure it's all stacked nicely. And then, you know, I like to use water, hot glue, lighter, macro lens so you could see. And that's about it. So let me clear most of this stuff out of the way and just get down with the build. So we're going to do 6 pieces of .3 ribbon. So I'm going to take my .3, grab the end with my needle noses, and I'm just going to cut this nasty stuff off. I like cutting my ribbon with scissors more than the close cutters because it just seems like it cuts it a little bit better, a little cleaner. Alright, so I get out a length that's basically equivalent to 16 inches. So there's 3 pieces at 16 inches. I can put my .3 away. Now one of them pieces of 0.3 I cut off the spool, the nasty stuff, I actually put to the side because I'm going to be using that for a slider. Alright, so I got my 0.3 ribbon. Just going to run my fingers down to the other end. I'm going to go to the shortest or the nastiest piece of ribbon and cut them all the same size at the clean part. I'm going to take it by the end, get it as stacked as I possibly can. I'm going to get my water, dip my fingers. I go down it a couple times. Get them ribbons sticking together so that they're almost like one piece of ribbon. Just like that. Then I'm going to get both ends, bring them together. Get it at my loop, bend it, bring that loop in tight, tighter, tighter still. Make sure it's stacked nice and neat up at the loop. And then I'm going to grab my 38 gauge. I'm going to do about 8 to 10 wraps around this section of ribbon. Cut it. I'm going to run my fingers down this ribbon. Get a little more water on my fingers and run my fingers down. So once again, these 6 pieces turn into one straight piece. Your ribbon should be all stacked right now. Now we just got to bind them a bit so they stay stacked when that water dries. So, pinch the loop with my right hand, with my left hand. I come down at about 1.25 inches. This is just like my frame staple tutorial, only with smaller wires we're using now. Now this isn't my favorite frame staple to do. This is a really good one. It'll come out to above a 0.1. My favorite one I actually did live, so there is a video there. And frame staples are my favorite build. Whenever anybody asks me what's my favorite build to vape, it's always Fraliens. I'm sorry, I think I said frame staples. Fraliens. Alright, so there's my stack. Bind it on both ends. I pinched that 38 gauge and ran it down. Alright, so I got that. Now I'm going to get my 28 gauge. Grab it with my needle noses. Pull it out one length. Let's try that again. Pull it out one length. Pull it out 2 lengths. Stretch it so it straightens. Cut it. Just like I did with the ribbon. I'm going to grab both ends of the 28. bring them to one hand, grab my loop, bend it, bring that loop in even more. I'm going to get my ribbon stack. Drop it in the middle. Wind them loops up so that the 28 is sitting directly over the 0.3 stack. Focus. I'm going to get some more 38. And now I'm going to wrap that frame to that stack. I forgot something, and I'm already thinking I forgot something and what you'll need for this build. I forgot the 26 that we're going to need for the decor. Run my fingers down at the 1.5 inches again. Get a piece of 38. Wrap it around about 5 times. Pinch that 38. Bring it all the way down to the end here. And then I got a little extra 38 hanging off from that. So I'm just going to do a couple more wraps, since it's probably loose from me dragging it down the wire. Now I'm going to cut any 38 just hanging off here. I'm going to cut that off. Alright. Cut some of this 28 shorter. Now hot glue is optional with this. I like doing it where I put my drill chuck. It just assures that when I put my drill chuck down tight, that this stack won't move. So I'm going to heat up some hot glue, dab it right over that 38 wraps that I did. Reheat it again, it gets it looking a little nicer, it gets it to fall into them ribbons a bit. And now I could bend my 28 frames down. Leave them about a 1/2 inch long, but I could cut them still a little shorter. One more thing to do is a slider. So one of them pieces of 0.3 that I cut off my spool in the beginning, one of them nasty pieces, I'm going to take, I put it between my index and the stack. I'm going to do 3 wraps. Take my ceramics, crimp it down. I'm going to do one more wrap for good measure. Crimp it down again. Cut any excess off. And now that will slide up and down my stack It'll be the appropriate size to keep everything in order while I alien. So I put it about 3/4 away from the hot glue, because that's where I'm going to start. Alright, my stack's ready. That's done. So now I just want to grab some 26. Got some 26 nichrome here. Doesn't matter what kind of 26 you use. But I want to make sure that I get out. This is an 8-inch stack, so I'm going to need at least 14 inches of Clapton, which means I want to have at least 16 inches because some is going to go in the drill and some is going to wrap around the swivel. Stretch it straight. Cut it at about 16 inches. And now I just got to pop this on my swivel, bend the 90 in it, pop it in my drill, and I just clapped it around it. I go clockwise, same as my aliens. I'm using 38 this time. I don't think I've ever aliened with 38 in one of the tutorials, so I just wanted to do this and just tell you the differences, because there is a difference. Alright, between this and 36. Alright, I'm going to pop it in my drill and Clapton. Probably just going to fast forward through this part, but I'll still show you. Alright, at the end here, I leave an inch on. Put my drill in reverse. Hold this wire and hit the drill while it's in reverse. Pinch the wire near the drill chuck. See if it moves. It doesn't. Do it again. It doesn't. Got it. I'm going to loosen it a little more, just for good measure. Cut. and pull it off the core. And there's my 38 gauge D core off of a 26. I can get this frame stable hooked onto the swivel. I can insert it in the drill. I could clamp my D cord to the table. And I could stretch my alien. One of the biggest differences between stretching 36 and stretching 38 is the 38 is just a little weaker, so you just want to be careful when stretching it. This is usually how I stretch my 38. Another big difference between 36 and 38 is when you go to alien this, you just want to put less pressure on your fingers than you would with 36. This is a weaker wire, so any amount of pressure may end up stretching it more. Now some people like to understretch it just a tad and stretch it as it goes around here. And that works too. It's just something you got to get the feeling for in the beginning of each alien. So I'm going to get my 38, wrap it around one of the 28s. Make sure my drill's in the opposite motion that I claptoned, which is reverse. Make sure my stack's good. Make sure my drill's in reverse, the opposite direction of what I claptoned. Grab my alien with my index and my thumb. I move my fingers about a foot away from the stack, and I'm going to start off slow. Just get the right angle and the right pressure, and I'll be able to pick up speed. The faster you go, the tighter your alien's going to be. So also at 38, since it's a thinner wire, you could keep your angle a little tighter. off my swivel. Cut them in half. And wrap them up because they're ready to go. I'll show you a close-up real quick. Alright, there she is. And if I move down, I got some spaces in it so you guys can see the staple wires in there. Alright, let me wrap these up and I'll install them in something real quick so I can show you guys the ohms. This top one's got a little more spaces. Kind of see the ribbon. It looks awesome. Let me mess with the lighting. Alright, let me get these mounted. I got them installed on the icon here. Dirty icon right now, but icon nonetheless. I'm going to pulse these on the DNA and show you the ohms. It starts out at a 0.1. Now these are going to raise up to about a 0.13 when all is said and done. That's 5 wraps around a 3mm. But I'll come back when it's all done and show you. Alright guys, that's about it. I strongly suggest trying these. Once again, Fraliens are my favorite build for flavor, for clouds, for anything. Fraliens, whenever anybody asks me what's your favorite build to vape on a mech, Fraliens. In a box, Fraliens. These Fraliens for a box, 28 gauge, and like 6.3 or 8.3 or 8.4 with 6 wrap even. Get them at that 0.1 or over so you can crank them up. Best vape. I love Fraliens. So the next build I do a tutorial for is probably going to be, right now my favorite to build, Staggertons. So that'll be not the week coming up, but the week after that. That's going to be my next high definition tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed the couple of videos I put out this week. Just don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, go follow me on Instagram, follow the Resistance crew, go check out Pure Atomist Wire for all your wire. And spread the word. Whenever you see somebody asking questions about builds, point them my way, point them to my channel, If there's a question you can't answer, point them to me. I don't mind answering questions. Other than that, guys, be safe. I guess enjoy your Halloween if I don't see you. But thanks for watching. I'm going to try to get this video out as soon as possible. So let me go edit it. Peace.